If intelligence automatically led to wealth, every genius would be rich. But that's obviously not true. Some of the smartest people in the world have lost fortunes, made terrible investments, or spent years digging themselves out of financial mistakes. And here's what's interesting. Most of those mistakes weren't caused by a lack of information. They were caused by the way intelligent people think. We usually assume money problems happen because people don't know enough. But in many cases, knowing more is exactly what creates the problem. In this video, we'll look at 4 psychological traps that smart people fall into all the time, and why intelligence can sometimes make those traps even more dangerous. By the end, you'll understand why good financial decisions have less to do with IQ than most people think, and more to do with something far less obvious. Let's start with the mistake that quietly sits behind countless financial disasters. Number 1. Intelligence creates overconfidence. Someone who has spent years succeeding, good grades, strong career, smart decisions. People trust their judgment. Over time, something subtle happens. They stop asking, "Could I be wrong?" and start assuming, "I'm probably right." That's where problems begin. Because financial markets don't care how intelligent you are. They don't reward confidence. They reward accuracy. And those are very different things. Think about a skilled surgeon, engineer, or business executive. In their profession, expertise often produces predictable results. If they're excellent at what they do, they usually outperform others. But investing doesn't work the same way. The future remains uncertain no matter how smart you are. Yet many intelligent people unknowingly carry confidence from one area of life into another. Suddenly they're picking stocks, timing markets, making concentrated bets. Not because they have special information, because they're used to being right. And that's the trap. The irony is that intelligence often helps people build confidence. But confidence can make them underestimate risk. The biggest financial mistakes rarely begin with ignorance. They begin with certainty. And this leads directly to an even more dangerous problem. Because once a smart person makes a bad decision, something unexpected happens. Number 2. Smart people rationalize bad decisions. Imagine 2 people making the same bad investment. The first person admits the mistake quickly. The second person spends months explaining why they're actually still right. Which one loses more money? Usually the second. Here's why. Intelligence gives people an incredible ability to build explanations. That's useful in school, useful in business, useful in life. But it can become expensive in finance. Because sometimes the brain stops searching for truth and starts defending the ego. Think of it like a lawyer. A lawyer's job isn't necessarily to discover what happened. A lawyer's job is to defend a position. Many smart investors accidentally turn their brains into lawyers. The investment falls. Instead of reevaluating, they create a story. The market doesn't understand yet. Everyone else is wrong. It'll recover eventually. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. The point is that intelligence makes those stories more convincing. The smarter the person, the easier it becomes to justify staying committed to a bad decision. This isn't really a money problem. It's a psychology problem. Because the real cost isn't being wrong. The real cost is refusing to admit you're wrong. And that brings us to a mistake that's even harder to spot. Because it feels like wisdom. Number 3. Knowledge creates the illusion of control. Let's say someone spends hundreds of hours studying markets, reading reports, watching financial news, analyzing charts, following economic trends. Naturally, they begin feeling more informed. And that's a good thing. Until information quietly transforms into something else. Control. The feeling that because you understand something you can predict it. But understanding and control are not the same thing. A meteorologist can understand weather patterns and still be surprised by a storm. A pilot can understand aviation and still face turbulence. Likewise, investors can understand markets and still experience outcomes they never expected. The problem is that knowledge often makes uncertainty feel smaller than it actually is. The brain starts believing randomness has become predictable. But many financial outcomes contain variables nobody can forecast consistently. Economic shocks, political events, technological disruption, human behavior. These forces can change everything overnight. The lesson isn't that knowledge is useless. Far from it. The lesson is that knowledge works best when paired with humility. Because the smartest people aren't the ones who believe they can control everything. They're the ones who understand what they can't control. And now we arrive at the mistake that destroys wealth even when investments perform well. Number 4. Smart people chase status instead of wealth. This one surprises people, because it has almost nothing to do with intelligence, and everything to do with human nature. Imagine two people earning the same high income. The first buys a larger house, a luxury car, expensive upgrades. Everything looks impressive from the outside. The second person increases investments, savings, and financial flexibility. 10 years later, who is wealthier? Often it's the person nobody noticed. Because wealth and status are not the same thing. Status is visible. Wealth is often invisible. And intelligent people aren't immune to status pressure. In some cases, they're more vulnerable. Why? Because high-achieving environments are filled with comparison. Better neighborhoods, bigger homes, more expensive lifestyles. The target keeps moving. There's always someone earning more, owning more, displaying more. The result is lifestyle inflation. Income rises. Expenses rise. Financial freedom stays exactly where it was. The truly dangerous part? Feels successful. That's what makes it hard to detect. Many people spend years chasing the appearance of wealth while quietly delaying actual wealth. And that's a trade most people don't realize they're making. So why do smart people make dumb money moves? Not because they're unintelligent. Because intelligence alone isn't enough. Overconfidence can hide risk. Rationalization can protect mistakes. Knowledge can create false certainty. And status can distract from real wealth. The people who tend to win financially over the long term aren't always the smartest people in the room. They're often the people who stay curious, humble, adaptable, and patient. That's a very different skill set. And it might be one of the most valuable financial lessons you'll ever learn. If this video changed the way you think about money, subscribe for more psychology-backed insights on wealth, decision-making, and human behavior. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.